Yes, I was around in 1973. Thank God I'm still here today. First of all, congratulations to the 2015 inductees, Hall of Fame inductees. Enjoy this day. I know for most of you, or all of you, it's a very special moment in your racing career and in your life. The second job I have today is to introduce a gentleman that all of you know very well. Mark Bones Bourcier is our 2015 Jack Ratta, Charlie Mitchell Memorial Award winner. Some of the events fade into memory, others remain close to your visual surface. While I'm not exactly certain of the year, I do remember the time and place. It was a Friday night, and for me, a regular assignment of covering stock car racing at Stafford Motor Speedway for the Norwich Bulletin. As I entered the press box, I noticed this kid, a teenager I guess, sitting next to Speedway Scene owner and publisher Val LeSueur. What initially struck in my mind about this young fellow was his long hair. Other than saying hello and sharing a few words, there were very few other significant details which stood out about the evening. That young person appeared to me as just another erstwhile writer hoping to catch on in the game. It didn't take long, however, to realize that Mark Bones Bourcier had a special talent, a skill not found in every individual who tries to gather together words and phrases about auto racing in order to present them to the reading public. His work on Val's paper would only be the gateway to what would be a lengthy and award-winning career as a motorsports journalist. It would lead him to Trackside Magazine in a partnership with Dean Nardi, then to Stock Car Racing, where he produced craftily written pieces and columns for its editor, Dr. Dick Bergman. It was followed by a stint with Dick Bergman's Stock Car Racing magazine. What came along next was an explosion in print. Bones was able to take local racing figures like Bugsy Stevens, Richie Evans, Ed Flemke Sr., and Bentley Warren, and bring you along for a ride in a lengthy journey about their lives in book form for Coastal Racing 181 and its owner, Lou Boyd. Anyone who's ever tackled that endeavor understands what an enduring and sometimes agonizing task it can be. He has also chronicled the lives of national personalities like Parnelli Jones, Tony Stewart, and Bill Simpson. Hours of interviewing and the vast collection of facts and research are needed to prepare each work. After that, you have to think about the writing. What makes Bones Bourcier one of the quintessential chroniclers of auto racing, of the auto racing world, is that the rare ability to put you right there. He paints those precise word pictures. He makes you hear the roar of the engines, the smell of the exhaust fumes. You can't help but feel the excitement. Over the years, Bones has also developed into not only a powerful interviewer, but an extraordinary editor as well. That isn't easy in a sport where your ego, at times, can get the best of you. But Bones has always been able to surrender that for the greater good of what he does. I turn to an old friend, Pete Zanardi, as I often do in times like these, for a few chosen words, and here's what he had to say about Bones. Clearly, when it comes to New England auto racing writers, he's at the head of the field, says Zanardi, a Hall of Famer and someone who's written his share of great stories. He's the best we've had. Bones has a wonderful feeling for the sport and its history. Even though he has gone out and become nationally known, he's never forgotten his roots, where he comes from. This award is long overdue, and that time is now. It's my ultimate pleasure introducing to you the New England Auto Racing Hall of Fame's 2015 Jack Ratta, Charlie Mitchell Memorial Award winner, recipient, Mr. Bones Bourcier.
Thanks, Pete. First of all, I knew both Jack Ratta and Charlie Mitchell pretty well. They were two very different people. Jack was a fun guy to have a cold drink and a story with, and that's for me, I'm busy. Charlie Mitchell was a very quiet guy who was also a fun guy to sit and tell stories with. The best thing about both of them was that they knew how to tell a story. and to win anything with their name on it is a great honor. I need to thank just a couple of people. Mike Ediscavage, who's not here today, a great photographer and writer, lives in California now. He gave me my first writing job when I was 15 years old, so you can blame him for this. Probably 90% of the writing I've done over the years has gone to either Val LeSueur in the Speedway Scene Days or to Dick Berggren at his various magazines, and both of those guys have been bosses and mentors to me, but most of all friends, and that's really important. Carl Fredrickson at Speedway Illustrated I've been writing for the past few years. It's a great magazine, probably does more for short track racing than any other national magazine. Lou Boyd and his wife Carrie from Coastal 181. I think everybody in this room knows the work that they do with the books on racing past and present, and I think that it's incredible what they've done with a small publishing company out of a little corner of Massachusetts has become a national concern. Two people who have always encouraged me, I don't know why, but from the time I was maybe 15 years old and started doing this, who are here today, Bruce Cohen and Margaret Rosati. I don't know why they did it, but they've always been super encouraging to me. In April of 1974, I was 13 years old. I picked up a copy of Stock Car Racing magazine. It had a story written by a friend of us all, Pete Zanardi, about a guy who was another friend of us all, Richie Evans. And most of the stories that you read would talk about where a guy started. He started in street stocks and he drove late models or modifieds or whatever it was, told you where he was from, but it didn't tell you much about the guy and the life that he led. Well, this story opened up in a smoky bar in Rome, New York, and he had Richie playing some kind of an electronic paddleball game, which we used to call it Pong, maybe the first video game ever. I was 13 years old, so I'd never been in a bar room, but I knew, I had an idea what they looked like from watching movies and TV, and you could, when you read this story, you could smell the smoke and smell the stale beer almost, and it let me know right then that being a writer, you could bring to the reader the lives of these interesting people. And that story absolutely changed my life. So Pete, I don't know where you're sitting, but I absolutely owe all this to you. And then lastly, the two most important women in my life are here. Both of them are Linda Vaughn. And only the men here will get that. But my mother, who took me to my very first race at Plainville Stadium, which was won by Dave Alkis, who's here today, and my wife, Dory. I've written 5 books, or 10 books now, and she's been here for 5 of them, which is a new track record. And I don't have any plan B, so she's going to have to be it. But anyway, thank you very much for this. It means the world. And congratulations to all the Hall of Famers.